Hello good people, welcome to my corner of the web, and today I would like to talk about adapting karate. In our journey through the karate we all need to make changes for ourselves and for other people. For me, I had to adapt my karate to the way I think, the way I'm built, and the way my body allows me to work. Through the years, those changes take different shape. So when I was younger, I could have do physical workouts for much longer. I was healing faster, so I could abuse my body a bit more. Now the same injuries or small bumps taking much longer to heal, and that's one of the things that I had to adapt. Now I'm not able to do so much full contact, for example. I have to think more about my safety. Same with the stretches, amount of kicking. Just my body doesn't like to be abused anymore, and the healing process is taking longer. I have to as well think about changes to other people who train with me. I have to take in consideration their abilities, their mental state, and modify all what I teach so it suits them.
Are you tired? Are you losing your training focus? Do you need something to pep you up and get you going again? Me too. That's why I chose Les Bubka's Karate Journal. Beautifully designed to help you stay on track, to motivate you, and to help you review your progress. It's the ideal tool for any karateka that has lost their way in life's journey, and indeed for those who just like a nice notebook.
Going back to me, I never could kick really high, so I had to modify the way I kick, the way my hips are working, which in some ways upsetting people who are of the opinion that you shouldn't change anything. And I think that all the masters we see in the text from Kishin Funakoshi and other, Motobu and Mabuni, saying that karate should evolve and adapt and be your personal thing. So for me the biggest change at the moment, I'm over 40 years old now, is to convince that 20-year-old living in my brain that the body is not what it was, and it doesn't really want to do what my brain thinks I can do. So I'm getting in that state of mind doing the training that yes, I can do it faster, I can do it stronger, I can do longer, but then I have to pay, and it's just not worth it. So I adapt the way I'm training now. I'm training smarter instead of stronger, and I'm trying to find the ways that my training is beneficial to me and works with my body instead against my body. As well, I'm working a lot with the people who are less able than I am, physically or mentally, and I need to adapt the way I teach. So my karate is being changed on the individual basis. It might be changes in how I communicate to express or describe what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do, so people understand. It might be that I have to modify the techniques, which is the sore point of conversation with some martial artist communities. I don't have a problem with changing techniques to suit needs of my students or myself. One of the examples can be that I've got a group of people over 60 years old who do karate for their health, meditation, we call it a taiso, and some of them struggle with balance, so I need to use chairs for them so they can sit down and do the kata. It's not perfect kata, but it works for them, it is functional for them. I also got people with multiple sclerosis. When they cannot kick, they've got the problem same with balance, coordination. So we try to adapt during the training the techniques we're doing. They might not be able to do combos I want to do or other people can do. So they need adaptation. We've got one of the students is profoundly deaf. My communication had to change. The way I describe techniques, the way I show the techniques, the way I think about teaching have to change, because I need to make sure that she understands me and does things what I expect her to do. So adapting karate for me is very important. I like to do it. I don't fear that I'm gonna be destroying my karate. My kata change over the time. I'm changing my techniques to suit the way I think about karate at the moment. So the way I was doing my karate 20 years ago is completely different to what I want to do and how I do it now, and what's the purpose of it as well. So if anybody tells you that you shouldn't change your karate, don't take any notice, make it your own, fit for your purpose. Make sure that you've got the purpose in mind, what you want to do, and don't afraid to make changes. We need to evolve, make karate evolving, and the only way to do it is customize it. It needs to be suited for you and the way you teach, the way you perform it. Okay, let's go to a karate story. Today's story is sponsored by Kuroten Practical Karate and the head coach Tracey Radley. And it's bang on the adaptation. I'm gonna read it out to you, so if you love my clumsy reading, you're gonna enjoy that. If that's gonna put you off, I'm really sorry about that, but that's the way I am. Titled by Making Karate Fit the Student. I have been training karate for over 22 years and now run my own club, Kuroten Practical Karate. Our club motto is Making Karate Fit the Student. And today I wanted to tell you the story as to why I chose to train and teach my students with this motto in mind. When people first find out that I am a karate instructor, they often look at me with surprise and disbelief. I am only 5'5" and quite polite. And petite, even she says. I've just remembered that Les will be reading this. What else shall I get him to say? Sorry Les, don't worry, I'll go back to the story now. People generally make assumptions that I must be super fit and healthy, but this isn't quite true. I have a joint condition called a hypermobility that, among other things, can cause many of my joints to partially or fully dislocate. Exercise is the key to keeping it under control, meaning that I have to train extra hard to build muscles and maintain it. Just 2 weeks into the first main lockdown in 2020, with the lack of contact training and the restrictions on outdoor exercises, I experienced 3 partial dislocations due to muscle wastage, which then each took 3 months to fully rehab. Karate is what keeps me strong both physically and mentally. Although I do have to adapt various techniques to training methods to protect my joints, I didn't always realize this though, and for many years tried to conform and force my body to perform the perfect stance, kick or strike, etc. This would lead to multiple injuries and for many years prevent me from progressing on my martial journey as quickly as I would have liked. A big turning point for me was when I had to have my left knee surgically repaired due to dislocation. I had undergone a couple of unsuccessful operations. The second had an adverse effect and had actually made my knee worse. I was on crutches and off work for 3 months. I couldn't walk or drive, and being on crutches meant I basically lost the use of my hands too. I was 25 years old and had lost my independence, self-confidence and self-esteem. However, I was determined that I wanted to carry on training, and I set myself a goal to grade my second Q brown belt. I knew I couldn't physically train, but I went to every single karate lesson anyway and sat and watched. Emotionally that was hard because I wanted to join in so badly, but it helped me to keep my focus, and I was learning by watching the other students. I started incorporating karate into my physio exercises, strengthening and bending my knee in slow motion to perform a front kick and making sure that I kept stretching so that I didn't lose my mobility. After 3 months, I become apparent that the operation had failed. My kneecap was sliding about with every movement, leaving me very unstable and in a lot of pain. I set about looking for a surgeon who could repair my knee, and in the meantime decided that this wouldn't stop me training. Wearing a knee brace that had bits of metal to hold my kneecap in place, I went back to karate. Yes, I was totally rubbish at it. My balance has gone. I couldn't hold the stance and the pain was almost unbearable. But it made me happy because as I didn't have to sit on a bench and could join in again. At this time I also began assisting with the teaching on a more regular basis. I realized that although I couldn't do moves correctly, I knew how they should be done and was able to help others. Deep down I was feeling very low. I was being told by doctors that I would never get better and that I should register as disabled. I felt like giving everything up. What was the point in training if I could never get better and perfect the techniques? However, I remember my goal of grading for the second Q. I had never given up on anything in my life before, and I wasn't going to let my knee stop me from getting there. I kept fighting to find someone to fix my knee and keep training to keep me focused. Finally, 8 months later, I found a surgeon who said he could repair my knee. He operated, and following month and once again I was back on the crutches full time. I set about learning to walk again for the second time in 1 year, and of course started practicing my kicks in slow motion. The doctor have told me that my side effects of this operation would mean that I would possibly never be able to bend my knee past 90 degrees angle again. I refused to believe this though, and spent hours and hours on exercise bike, painfully and gradually increasing the mobility millimeter by millimeter at the time. Due to the effort that I was putting in, I found a physio that accepted me into a physiotherapy class for a semi-professional footballer, and they helped me to gain those final few centimeters of flexibility back. Awesome. However, my knee now worked totally different, which meant that once I was back in the dojo, I was like a white belt again. I had to learn new how to make my legs do all the stances and kicks again. Slowly I started to improve, as did my self-esteem and self-confidence. Gradually I got back to reasonable standard, but was still unable to perform everything the way that I should be done. Finally, 2 years after the second operation, I graded for and passed my second Q brown belt. I was so pleased and determined to continue with my karate journey. What followed next was many years of training, teaching and watching when I couldn't do these things. I trained hard and eventually graded for my first dan and then my second. Having carried 2 children during this time, though meant that I developed problems with my hips, pelvis and back, and now my other knee is beginning to give up too. To this day, after most prolonged training sessions such karate seminars, the pain from various joints is so bad that I am often unable to drive myself home. I will not let it stop me training. I have been told by multiple consultants and physio under no circumstances to give up karate, as the strength and flexibility that I gain from the level of training that I do literally holds me together, and without it would be most probably be unable to walk. I decided during the first lockdown in 2020 that to open Kuroten Practical Karate. I wanted to give the others the opportunity to learn what I am learning and enjoying so much. I am a very open-minded instructor, and due to my own physical restriction, when a student generally is unable to physically perform a technique, I work with them to make the karate fit them so that it still works, but in a way that they are able to practice it without pain and discomfort. I will always try to make karate fit the student and never force the student to fit karate if they are unable to. I have students with various disabilities, some who thought that karate was never something that they would be able to partake. They loved it, and they are progressing in a functional and practical way that works for them. I am not so hard on myself now when I'm unable to perform as I feel I should. I will never give up training, and I will always fight for those individuals who think they can't but they want to try. Kuroten Practical Karate is based in Wivenhoe in Essex, and we have classes for students aged 4 years old to adults scattered through the week. If you would be interested in more practical approach, please look us up. Everybody is welcome to give it a try. You can find us on Facebook page Kuroten Practical Karate or on Instagram Kuroten Practical Karate. Best regards, Tracey Radley. I think this is a fantastic story and supports everything which I said. We need more instructors who are gonna be changing karate to adapt and make classes inclusive. I hope you enjoyed this clip, and I see you on the next one.